For this third video, I will do it a bit faster so that I don't take much time. So we'll start by going to github.com where we'll be able to find KCAU Tech. So remember, when you are on GitHub, the homepage, you come to the search bar and you do KCAU Tech like that. That's the spelling. And then once you search, you will go to users. You will search for users and you will pick the first one. And while you are here, you will go to this Bookface Backend. This is where all the backend code is, and from now here we can be able to start contributing to code. So we'll look at two ways of cloning the code. So we'll so while we are on this directory called VS Code Projects, this is my VS Code Projects directory. There is this one called Bookface. This is the web, the front end work. So we can clone the backend one also here. So we come here, code, you do HTTPS, and you could get this, and then you do git clone, you paste the URL, and then you hit enter. Once you hit enter, the project will be cloned and you'll be able to enter into the directory. This is one of the ways. The other ways is while you're on VS Code, you can come to clone git repo, paste the URL here, press enter, and then go to the directory that you want. So for me it is in D, VS Code Projects, and you can see the only one that is here is this one for the front end. So you can do it in these ways. Or if you're using WebStorm, there's also an equivalent to that, or any other IDE. I'm sure there's an equivalent to that, but what we'll use is this one for the terminal because it is standard for everyone. So enter, we clone, and we clear dir. You see now we have Bookface and Bookface backend, so we'll do cd into Bookface backend. And by the way, if I'm going too slow for you, you can speed up the video. So we'll do that. Clear. So once you are here, let me show you the file structure so that you are able to understand. So once you've cloned the project on the terminal, you need to come here and do open folder, then you go to the folder VS Code project, and then you choose Bookface backend like that, and select folder. So this is the file structure. So you have a .github folder. This let me zoom in. This one .github folder contains what I was explaining in the first video, the CI/CD pipeline. It contains the CI/CD pipeline in the workflows here. So this is the one where once you've pushed your code to main, or you've done a pull request to the dev branch, it runs these tests. So it installs Node version 22, and then it installs Firebase CLI tools. It does a clean install, and then it fixes the ESLint such that all your indentations, kama hukuweka comma somewhere, ama hukuweka semicolon somewhere, it does that for you. And then it links the code, it checks that everything is up to standard, and then now it pushes the code to Firebase Cloud Functions using this tool. So that's the CI/CD pipeline that I was explaining. The same thing is also kwa the front end, which I didn't get to explain, and it will also be the same kwa the Flutter and the mobile repository. Then there is the issue templates. This one is when you want to report a bug or you want to request for a feature. These are the ones that are used these are the structures. So you can come here and see. So if you want to report a bug, this is how it will look kwa GitHub. If you want to request for a feature, it will look something like this. So yeah, that's the one for GitHub. And for a pull request, once you do a pull request, you need to put a title here, then you need to put a brief description there, and you need to do this checklist and ascertain that you have checked that your code follows this, and then you describe what has changed. So that is the .github folder. Then there is the functions folder. This is where all our functions are going to live. So that's the folder, and then there are these two Firebase config files, and there is this gitignore file, and finally the readme file that helps us to run this code locally. So these are the steps that we're going to follow. This one, and they look much better when you're on GitHub. So here, it's going to tell you to clone, to cd into that. So we're going to follow this. So let's go to the terminal. Let's put the terminal that side, and this on that side. So let's switch it up. So this we do. We've already cd'd into, we've changed directory into Bookface backend, and we're in the main branch. Then we need to cd into functions. Once we are there, we can do npm install. This will install all the packages that are needed to run the cloud functions. So don't worry about this warning. These are warnings about the packages that Cloud Functions uses. It's not packages that we are implementing ourselves, so that's not up to us to deal with them. So we've done that, and then I'll change these two sections here because we do not need to log in into Firebase. So these two I'll edit. We'll see how we can update and push our code. So these are the two parts that I will change. And then what we need to do is we can cd out of functions, and then we can do Firebase emulators start. So this will start a local server which we can reach via an endpoint. So just like you can use a certain API endpoint like a URL to reach and fetch requests for data, that's the same thing it's going to do. It's going to start Firebase endpoint. So let's wait for it to do that. So I've tried running it, but it failed because there was some error in the code. I've been able to fix it, and now it is running successfully. So what we need to do is you can either first of all copy this URL that is here, and then this will be your API endpoint, or you can click here. Once you click here, it will open up a page for you where it will show you the same URL here that you can use. So this is where you will see all your logs about, for example, if you're testing an API endpoint and you want to log out each step so that you see where something is failing or something is not going right, you will see your logs here. So we'll copy this API endpoint that we have here. I've copied it, and then you will need to install Postman. Postman is an application that gives you the ability to make API calls and to test how your APIs are performing. So this is mine. Let me come here. I'll create a new tab here and then paste the URL here. So with Postman, you can do get request, can do post request, can do put, patch, delete, can look for heads and options by just changing here and placing the URL there and then clicking on send. Once we do we make the get request, it will go to the API endpoint that we put here, then it will return a response according to the way our code will return a response. So from according to the response we can see here, let me zoom in. I don't know if I can zoom in. Yeah, I can see here that it is a JSON object that says the title is Firebase Cloud Functions and it says hello from Firebase. So you remember, let me show you something. You remember this this that we could see here on our Bookface website. This Firebase Cloud Functions hello from Firebase. This was not hard coded here. This was actually coming from our API endpoint. So now we're going to see how to make a change, and then it will reflect all the way up to here. We do not need to do any manual work. So we come to VS Code. On VS Code, we remember our functions are in the functions. What do I call them? Functions folder, and then inside there's an index.js. This is the one that contains the exact code. Here you can see we are doing a response.json title, then a message hello from Firebase. We can change this to data, then we do another JSON object, and we do so that we can see it reflect. Let's just change hello from Firebase. We've put an emoji over there, then we can save this. Once we save this code, we open the terminal, and then we go step by step, pushing our code to the main to the dev branch. So we first of all do git. We check out into a branch. Let's call it test branch, and it is out of the dev branch. So it is git checkout, creating a new branch called test, but this branch is being branched off from the dev branch. Hata kama tuko kwa main branch, this should work. So let's try and see. Dev is not a commit, and a branch test cannot be created from it. Let's do git. Let's try git git pull origin. Come on, let's check out into the dev branch. So we've switched to the dev branch. Let's try if this will work. Yeah, so this has worked. So you have to be in the dev branch, in the branch that you want to branch off from. So that's it. And then let's clear this. So now the next step is to add these changes. The changes that we have made, we do git add full stop. This says you add everything that has been changed, you add it to the staged changes, and then once that is done, we do git commit. We do a message saying testing 1, 2, 3, and then we commit. So and then we do git push origin test. So the same feature branch we named it is the same one that we're going to push to. So we do git push origin test. Let's hope it works. Yes, it has worked. So we come here, we go to here, and then we do compare and pull request. So we've come to KCAU Tech Bookface Backend. We've come to the code, yeah, and it has given us an option here to compare and do a pull request. So that's what we've chosen. And then here, remember, here we always merge onto the dev branch. If you merge onto the main branch, that will cause problems because other people will not have your code and you'll be pushing to a branch that no one else is updating. So you should always push to the dev branch. We should always merge to the dev branch. So we've done this test feature branch. Now we should merge onto this dev branch, and it's telling us it is able to merge. So there's that, and then the next step is to look for reviewers. So you come here and you choose a reviewer. I'll choose the admin account, and then this is the pull request now. So you remember these files, you see this should be looking familiar because it is from these files that we have here. So pull request template, this see pull request title, description, checklist is the same here. Pull request title, description, checklist is here. But because we are testing, we'll clear this and do we are testing to see the changes. So we've chosen reviewers, we've chosen the right branches. So we'll come here and do create pull request. Okay, then here now it will perform some checks, and it will also request for review. So let's wait for these checks to be done. It has started. So let me go to the KCU Tech and then come to pull request and then choose the pull request that I've just created. Here testing 1 2 3, and then we can clearly see here it is still running, but I can come here and do add my review. Okay, my review as the admin. Then I do review changes and I approve. Great work. So I've approved. So once these checks are completed, it will allow me to merge it directly. Me as KCAU Tech, the admin, or also me as Alvin, I will be able to click merge pull requests. So let's wait for that to finish. So we can clearly see that the checks have passed. I can merge the pull request, me as Alvin, because this is my account, and also the KCAU Tech Club account can also merge the request. So whoever is able to see the pull request has completed the first is able to easily merge them. So I'll come here and do merge request, confirm merge. So my test branch has been merged onto the dev branch. You can come here to the code and switch to the dev branch, and you can clearly see here 5 minutes ago we've done a testing 1 2 3, and the testing 1 2 3 was we changed the index.js file to include this wave. So let's see if it will reflect here. Yeah, it does automatically. we didn't need to change any we didn't need to build any code, we didn't need to do anything. Everything reflected to the production environment. So for example, you make a change. For example, the front-end users want an API to implement authentication. So um, you guys on the back end, you implement the authentication flow. So you do you give them parameters that they need to give you, like username, password, email, a few of those things, and then you build the API, and then once you deploy it, them on the front end, they can easily call that API, providing the requests that the requirements or the props or whatever that are needed, and then they are able to call that endpoint and easily authenticate a user using certain um, um, parameters or certain um, authentication, or yeah, that certain email address or something like that. So that's how this project has been set up. I hope I've been able to explain everything clearly. One other thing that I've not explained is, for the backend people, you might need to request for permissions. Send me your email address. So I'll create a Google Sheet where I'll find your email addresses, and then I'll create a Google Sheet, and then I will ask you to fill in your name and your email so that I give you access to the Firebase project, at least for so that ukuwe na some viewing um, capabilities. So right now, like I can come here and add a member, but right now there are only two of these. So here kutakuwa na another one, either with the rights of editor ama viewer ama something like that. So yeah, as my account Alvin, I cannot add, but as KCAU Tech Club account here, you can come here and add a member na nimpe role ya a viewer, so that anaweza view all the parameters that are happening kwa the Firebase backend. So you'll need to give me your email addresses. I'll create the link, and then you fill in. I hope that's clear enough. So yeah, that's all. Um, yeah, enjoy building.